Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Let's start. So I am on the Swiss yen, and I will start with this one today because this is a very interesting chart. I did all the yen pairs in a daily, and if you have not seen that video, it's in YouTube. So for my YouTube videos, good morning to you as well. If you haven't seen that or you're seeing this video for the first time, go back on my page and watch that yen long-term forecast that I did. And remember, we said once they break that top, there's a possibility for it to start coming down and coming back way beyond this level, right? Something like this to the downside. Now, that doesn't mean you'll buy it and keep it, right? But at least you will have an idea of the direction of the trend. So you can always sell on pullbacks. What we saw here is that it broke the top and it started to make an impulse to the downside, which is very good, right? That by itself doesn't mean that this is the start of the downside, but that means you can start to look for sell setups. Even if you're wrong, you're going to make money on the sells, right? So we looked at it in the 4 hour, and I'm making an assumption that this could possibly make a running flat. Now, these running flats are something you might not see anywhere else because these are flats that pretty much I identify the way we look at running flats, a little different from Elliott waivers. And we looked at this, and I'm telling you based on what we think that this could be a running flat, which means it could come here, go back up there, and then start the downside. But this is a good trade if you get that trade, right? I think that's a really good trade if you get it. So you might want to look for the sell setup. What you're looking for is we've got the first impulse and it's starting to make a correction. Now that's a very, very small correction. What does that mean? That if it drops now, it is still within the impulse. That could be a very small move before you get the correction. So we're looking for a correction that is going to be bigger. I'm looking for a correction that might be more like this. And then the sell setup, something like this, something like this, whichever of those two come. I don't know which one is going to come, but we can still put a sell setup here today for a small trade, which means if this just drops like this, and it's possible it could just drop like this, you will take the profit because it's going to correct. And sometimes the impulse become much bigger before they actually make that correction. So you might want to take the trade. There was an earlier setup here. I think some of my traders took that, right? And you take out your profit. You wait for this to drop, take out your profit. It's going to be starting the bigger one, and then we'll go. That is if it drops. I hope it starts the bigger one today, right? In that case, you wouldn't have to worry. It makes the deeper correction, and then we go for the trade. What I can also do is follow up on this on a shorter time frame. So I think a lot of traders on YouTube have been commenting, and I've had this before, where people say they missed the charts I post because that would give them more accurate trades to make, and they make money out of it. So what I can do on YouTube is not post a chart. I can make short videos of a trade for the day. Now, it doesn't mean that that trade is going to happen the same day. But when I put the video out, it probably will be valid for a couple hours if the trade happens. So if I see an impulse and a setup, a correction where I think that trade could happen today, and I post it out, it will be valid. It might be a 5-minute video. I'll try to see if we can set that up. It will be valid for a couple hours. After that, that trade will no longer be valid. We will either cancel it, we will close it for break even, or it is going in profit and we took the profit off. So it's going to be like 4 or 5 hours it's valid for. You might not get the trade if you're not subscribed to the channel and you don't set your notification, because once I post it, you have an hour or two to make a decision on the trade. Right? I think I will start that next week. I'll see how we can set it up, set up a channel for that so that, and you can set up your notification, subscribe. And once I start doing, I would like if you can share that as more as possible. It's a 5-minute video. You can share it. I mean, it's either going to work or it's not going to work, right? The trade setup, what I will do is I'll follow in that under that thing with comments as to what we're doing with it as well, right? Because that's pretty much like what I was doing in trading, we're posting charts. And a lot of comments I get from traders who are struggling, did that help them more? So we can see if we can do that on YouTube, and then you can share it. Let's see if we can do that. I'll try next week and we'll do that, right? This might be the first one I'll start with. So let's see if by next week we get that correction. It will be the first one, but it will be at least one a day. I'll try to find a trade a day that works. If there's nothing, well, then I'll just not post anything for the day, right? Let's go. Dollar index, as usual. Dollar index is coming back. It's coming back aggressive. So there's a very high probability of us coming to break this top. What you need here is a correction to confirm that. Once we get a correction like this, we'll confirm the next impulse, break the top, and then you will take this profit off because you'll be careful. They can still go down. This could still be a correction. I've shown you that before, and I'll show you again. This thing can make corrections as big as this. It can make corrections as big as this, and it can make corrections as big as this. So with this could still be a correction before we break the low. The probability of them breaking the low is very high. Now, you may have to stick around but much longer with me if you want to see that low get broken. Or if you want to see we change the view to a contracting flat. Why we're changing the view, when we are changing the view, and what we need to see before we change that view. As of now, the view is it's going to go break the low. This is a correction. All right? Let's see what happens. We could get one more trade. I told you that is a possibility that this could be a running flat. It looks like that possibility is very, very strong, that that's a running flat, and we're actually going to come here, break that up, and then drop. So we would look at this as the running flat. Go back and look at all the videos in here. And you would see why we were saying that and what we were saying. In contradiction to what most traders were telling you is that it's going to go to heaven. All right, so be careful. Patterns, while they're forming, can change. Structurally, they can change. The patterns, not the biggest structure, they can change. You might think you're seeing a flat that suddenly will become either a running flat or an expanding flat or a contracting flat or a much more complex flat. And that is why updates on an hourly basis in our trading room is important. Right? If you're in a trade, you may want to have more updates on it. Silver, we're still waiting for the sell. We took a sell, we closed it for profit yesterday. I told you I was in the sell. We were in this sell from that top. It dropped, it went back, it came down. We closed it here yesterday because we saw that it was going to go back up. I can't remember if I mentioned that in the webinar yesterday, but I think I did when I told you that this is going to come break the low here and then go back up. Well, once it broke that low, I closed the trade. It took a while, but now it's up there. So here is the question. Are we going to go break this top, or is it going to be a contracting flat? 1 second, I lost my drawing tool. That happens once in a while. Got it back yet. So this could be a contracting flat, and it can drop today. Or it could go break the top and then drop. Now, can this pattern change in the structure? Of course, if this goes break this top, that changed the pattern we're looking at. It doesn't change the correction to the downside. That remains a correction to the downside. But it changed the pattern. So these things can change. You don't hear that very much anywhere else. And the ability to follow these changes and see what it's doing on an hourly basis is what we do in our trading. If you want that chance, if you want the ability to learn to do that, you can join us. And this is not an ad. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you, if you want to learn, if you really have a desire to learn it, you can join us. If you just want trades and you're just for the trading for the fun, don't waste your time and don't waste our time. If you're a serious trader, you can come along. If you're a troll, stay away. Right? It's very simple. This is what we do. We help genuine, serious traders who want to make this a career and want to learn how to do this and want to be successful. So we're looking at this and we're saying we're looking for the sell. Now, we don't have a sell set up here today. Not as yet. This looks more upside. If it drops lower here and give us a flag, we'll sell the flag, or we will have an entry here for if it drops like that. And it can drop like that. So we have an entry. I have an entry to sell here. Now, if it drops, tag you and start to go back up, what would you do? Now, if it drops and tag you, you would look for two patterns. You would look for this to either come here and go back up, and that will change the structure slightly. Not the structure, the bigger pattern, sorry. That will change the bigger pattern slightly. It's still downside. The downside has not changed. The downside will only change if we break this top. So until that top is broken, we're still expecting this drop. And it's going to take a while. Remember when this was coming down, I told you with these little ones, we want the bigger correction. Go back and watch the webinar. Go back to these days when this start happened. And we were looking at this flag and I was like, we want a bigger correction before we get that trade, right? This is the trade we want. But you need a bigger correction for it. Now you're getting a bigger correction. Don't miss the trade. Here is what I'm looking at. See that bigger correction? Look at the drop. Don't miss it. Simple. Don't miss it. Let's see. If you keep following me Maybe by the end of this month, which was until the free webinar, we might get that trade. If not, you'll have to subscribe. You will not subscribe. You'll have to join the installment group to continue to get the daily webinars. You will get them once a week still. So you will still see. Just keep following. You'll still see the trade. We're still saying that that is going down. So right now we have a sell entry here. That is what we have. I'm not making a trading call. That's what we have. And we'll manage this trade if it tags us and it looks like it's going to go back up. We have very strict rules on how we're going to manage our trades. We have what you call blueprints. In every situation of what this is going to do, there is a blueprint of what we should do with strict rules. Because we have looked at every single possibility and we have decided, well, if this happened, what would we do? And if this happened, what would we do? Right? So keep your eyes open and watch the trade. I hope it falls now because we would like the trade. But right now, I don't think it's going to fall. I think they could come back and make a next attempt at the top. We can't sell it here. There is no sell setup at that level, not even in the 15 minutes. There is no sell setup because of that two top. So if for us to have a sell setup, it will have to drop, make a flag here, then we can get a sell setup to go. Let's see if that happens. Go back to the 1 hour and wait. Gold, downside, if you took the trade, you're doing well. You see this sharp one here? This might go back a little more, and then that will become a very good sell setup. All right, that will become a sell setup to break the low. I don't think we're going higher so far. It's still downside. Euro, well, we're getting some consolidation here. Short term, if you're aggressive, you can buy like this because we might get something like this, and then there's a chance we'll come break this low. It's not a reversal as yet, but you can still buy short term. I don't think it's going to be a reversal either. I don't see any sign of them trying to go up right now. There is a small buy setup here. You'll have to be very careful. You have to be a very experienced trader to manage trade like that because you're buying in a correction against the bigger impulse, right? So we're assuming that at this point, it is going to make a deeper correction. This is the impulse, and we will make a deeper correction. That's the idea. Now it could make just a small correction and drop. You will have to get out of that trade, and you will have to get on the other side of the trade. My assumption is that it's going to be a bigger correction. That is why we're looking for a buy setup, short-term buy setup, because we think this correction is going to get bigger. If it doesn't, we'll manage the trade. Again, we'll manage the trade. Pong, you might get a buy setup here, but I don't think you really want it. It still looks like they can drop and drop and drop. Sometimes Pong starts slow like this, and then one of these just drop. So you might want to take the sell setup, which is you have a sell setup here. The sell is already going, right? But it might not go very far. You trade it once it comes beyond this low, you'll have to get it to break even and hope that it drops because it could stop here and go back up. Stop here and go back up. See? But should you take the sells? I think it's worth it. You don't know which one is going to drop, right? Sometimes they start slow like that and then they go. The Pong does have the structure to go down big time. Right? This structure still is doing what it was doing, up and then drop. Can they drop back to this level? Can this thing, 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Can this thing actually work its way down to this level? Yeah, we've had that. Look at this one. See, sometimes they do that. So you can take short-term sells. If you can get small profit, it's okay. If you can, then you just take the break even and see where it goes from there. So that's a good sell setup. But like I said, it's not moving fast and you'll have to be careful of how you trade it. You have to be able to manage your trade. You have to have your strategy that tells you what are the rules of what to do and how to do that. Aussie broke. We sold it. We got out. Got out for a break even because we saw that it's not going anywhere. It's going back up. I don't think it's going up as yet. I still think we will make a bigger correction in here, which means you might get a short-term sell here. It might go very slow, go back up, and then you'll get a very good trade here. So I think we're just making a bigger correction there, and then we can go down. It's not downside as yet. This is still becoming a much bigger correction. I don't know if you followed me earlier, but you would hear me say, we call this the fool me flat. It's a pattern whereby you get a perfect flat. It breaks out, don't break the top, and then come back down here. In most cases, what you would find is an expanding flat in the middle. And then it will come here and go back up. We've had a few of those. That was before we called me the fool me flat, because before we start looking for those expanding flats in the middle. Now we would relook at the structure and see that, okay, if you put these pieces together, you have a perfect expanding flat in the middle. You have the downside, you have two impulses, and it's perfect. Now, I don't know what it's going to do right now. We can't say we know what it's going to do, but we can tell you what the trade is for today. It's in a correction, and the trade is most likely consolidating for downside. So let's wait and see. Right now, short term, it's a sell setup. There's no buy setup on that yet. New Zealand, also sold, also break even. By rule, there was enough time and price to put that to break even. And again, I think it's going down. I could see this going down some more. It could, if it goes down very slow, you could go back up and get a bigger flat here for downside. You've seen those flats. If you go back and look at my charts, you'll see I constantly put them on. Here is a good example of those type of flat. And then they go up. So if they make a flat like that here, we'll get a sell setup. It's probably coming back to retest this low, right? It is still in a big sideways move. So you may ask me, where would this sideways move go? High probability is this thing could go down much more. Let me show you. So let's go one more up. We're looking at the possibility of this being a running flat. We're looking at this possibility of this piece here being a running flat, and we come down, right? And there's a high probability that this is ending what it's doing. So I'm going to show you two reasons why very fast. One, we have divergence. That's a good reason to think it's ending. And the second reason is you've got an impulse and you're getting some correction in here. So the worst case is you'd expect this to come here and then go back up or drop. So we'll look for sells. And when it breaks that low, we'll decide, is it going to continue to go or will it stay? So if you get a sell setup here, it's worth taking, but this is not the one I'm expecting to drop. I'm expecting this to come here, go back up, give you this flat, then come down. I hope that is clear. Now, it might not do that because there is a chance that there is a contracting flat in here. We never make forecasts on the contracting flats, but they do exist. You only can forecast them hindsight. What does that mean? That means you take the darn sell and then you manage the trade when it comes here. Because if it's a contracting flat, it's going to drop. If it is not a contracting flat, it's going to go back up, complete the pattern, and then fall. That's all. That is all it meant. But having that knowledge is important. Knowing that is important, right? It's like knowing when you're sick what to do. Because then you know how, then the doctor knows how to cure you. You have to know. Knowledge is important. It doesn't mean that the first pill the doctor gave you is going to cure you, right? Sometimes doctors do trial and error if you don't know. They said, okay, this is what we suspect, take this. And then you go back, doc, I'm not feeling well after a week. And you say, oh, well, okay, let's do 2 more tests, and then we'll change the pill. Yeah, because he's not God. He looks at all the symptoms, and a lot of these symptoms are similar in nature, right? You can all tell from the coronavirus, they're figuring out things as they go along, right? Sometimes all the symptoms show one direction, and then there's another symptoms that show another direction. I think you get it, right? You get the message. That's what we do here. We see the possibility for that, but we're not making that forecast because I still think we're going to make the forecast for the regular flat. One, go back up there, then drop. So we're going to take this trade, and then we're going to look for that trade. We'll move their stops here. If it takes us out, we'll look for that trade, and then we'll look for this one. If we take this one and it drop, good for all of us. Good. That's amazing. So we're looking for a sell setup today. Do we have a short-term buy in it in the correction? No. No short-term buy. You have short-term sells in a correction. I could see this probably, dropping some more slowly here, going back there, and then go, but you can sell. If you can manage it, you can sell it. Swiss, more upside. I hope they correct. I hope it comes down first before it goes. I hope this comes here and then go. You can see the small flat. We have a number of them. Here's one. Here is one. If they make a bigger flat here, that would be a better trade for you. If they tag you now, you might end up in a running flat before it goes. So you'll have to be careful with that buy setup. Yen, Yen is consolidating for more upside. I can see this probably coming here, even breaking out. But be careful, you'll get this in the future. So when you break out here, you'll have to move your stops because they can still do that. They will do it in the future. The question is when. It's going to become a long, drawn-out running flat pattern, right? I'm very glad they're breaking out. We will buy. We'll buy this one, and then we'll move the stops. It might be a short trade. It might be a break-even trade, and then it will drop. If they drop now, that would be great. I don't think this is dropping. I can see this going up and then probably do this, and that would be a perfect trade setup for us. This would be the buy you can hold for a longer term, if that happens. So let's see. It probably could happen today. They could break out of this structure and then drop. So if you take this buy, you'll have to be able to manage it. And there's a buy setup here in the lower time frame. You might get in much earlier. So by the time it gets to the top there, you can put it to break even. If you find that if you get a flag in here somewhere, you can go for that trade. By the time you get there, you put this to break even. So come back down. But it will break out first, then drop. Right? If it's going to drop now. Or it might break out, go much further, and you get a more complex, long, drawn-out running flat pattern. Now, again, let me just make sure that all the YouTube viewers watching this understand these patterns. You might not recognize or understand the patterns right now as I'm explaining them, especially if you're watching this for the first time. Or maybe even you're watching it for the 10th time. They're not that easy to understand. Right? These are complex patterns. But once you learn this stuff, or if you keep following me for a long time, you'll start to get it. Why we are saying this is what we expect it to do, and why most of the time it does that. Because these are known patterns. Right? This is not like we have to go figure it by ourselves. We've seen these patterns millions, well, I shouldn't say million, maybe hundreds of thousands of times before. So we know how they behave. Now, if this one is going to behave just like the previous ones that look just like this, then that is what we were expecting it to do. If it doesn't do that, then we wait until it changes. We wait to see what structural change we have. And then we see, okay, well, maybe it's making this pattern based on what it has now. See? It's that simple. Can it fall from this point? Maybe, but I don't see that structurally. It means I will not be in the sell. That is all it means. If I'm wrong about it, I wouldn't be in the sell. If I'm right about it, I'll be in the buy. When I see something that I understand, I'll trade it. When it is doing something I don't understand, and I just let it go. If you can trade what you don't understand, congratulations. I can't. CAD, we took the buy. Now we're taking the sell. So I closed one buy here yesterday. Took another buy. Came down, went back, closed that buy here for a small loss. Because the buy was here, my stop was here. I closed it here this morning. I think about 50% loss on that, but this one was good profit. So now we're looking for a sell here. We think it could go back. Remember what I told you, they can come back and retest the low. Normally they break out, they move. When they break out, they go, normally. But that has to be confirmed with a consolidation. So if this moves up like that to the top here today, I will cancel this sell. I will wait for it to come back here, and then we'll look for the buy. Because if it goes up there, we'll be looking for a flat pattern. But if it drops from where it is right now, if this drops, that's a sell. So if you get this and you get this, and it doesn't go back to the top there, it drops, that's a sell. That's something you learn, right? If it goes back to the top, be careful. It can be a flat that goes up. So let's see. Which is it? CAD Yen. CAD Yen, we were in profit yesterday, but I won this trade for a longer term. I won the bigger trade, not this small trade. This is a nice small trade, but I won the bigger trade. So we saw this possibility yesterday of this becoming a flat. And I said to my trader, you can either take your profit here, or you can put it at break even. So I put it plus 4 pips. I'm out for 4 pips. We're looking for this buy now, which means I think they will probably break out, make one more impulse, and then the bigger sell will come. The bigger sell is still, as long as this is not broken, the bigger sell will come. So it didn't come now. You can look for a buy setup. We're looking for this buy. And that will be one impulse only. You take profit because at any point in time, that thing could drop. Once this stop is broken, it can drop. So what are the chances that it doesn't go up? Again, let me explain that part. I just explained to you. If this comes lower to this level, we'll cancel the buy. We'll wait for it to come back here, and we'll look for a sell again. Now you're saying he just said he's buying. Now he says he's selling it, right? I'm absolutely sure one of the trolls will come on. You guys don't see them anymore, right? They look like they disappeared. No, they haven't gone. They're still there. You just don't see their comments because some of their comments are really nasty. So it's a good thing you can filter it in YouTube. You don't see it. All you have to do is put all the nasty words they can write and YouTube filters it. And I think they know that, but guess trolls are trolls. They don't change, right? So one of them will come and say, oh, he's telling you he's buying it, and then he'll tell you he's selling it. No. I'm explaining this for you, not for the troll. If it is a flag, we will buy. If it comes down lower to make a flat, we will cancel the buy and we will look for a sell. In a pattern like this, it can go slowly, 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 and then drop. They do that once in a while, not very often, but that happens sometimes, where the down move starts very slow with a number of short impulses, correction, short impulse, correction, short impulse, correction, and then drop. So you want to make sure that if you see that, you said, okay, great, but what if it goes now? Then it's a buy. We'll take the buy and we'll manage it. Pound yen, we're still in this one. So we took the pound yen and we're still in the pound yen. We took the pound yen here yesterday. It dropped. It actually went back a little, then it dropped. And this one is coming down almost to the low. So what we did, put it to break even and leave it. If this comes here, it could go back up like that and then drop. So when it comes here, you can make a decision. You can take that profit out, or you can stay with the trade at break even and wait to see if we get this drop, because pound yen, CAD yen, they have similar structure. Go back, watch the yen pairs I showed you. Moves like these tend to drop, even if they do this and then go back up. So if they do that, we'll go with a big running flat here and then up. If it drops to the bottom, then we will go with this running. This is the running flat. And both of those scenarios are possible. It depends on what this does. Then you can decide which one of them is the correct one. You have to. Until you get that piece, you wouldn't know which one is correct, because there are two possibilities, right? It's like a puzzle. You have two possibilities. You have to put one piece more to decide which one is the correct one, right? Or make one move and see which one is correct. So when this move happens, we will tell you which one it is. It drops to the low, we know which one is correct. And right now it doesn't matter, because both of them are telling you downside. So trade to the downside. That's simple. Find a trade that says a sell, sell it and stay with it. So we're in that sell already. Can you get another sell? Absolutely. If this comes here and go back up like that within this range, you can put a sell set up here for this one. Let's see. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I hope you guys are understanding it, especially if you're new to YouTube, because I think that's a very simple explanation. Aussie Swiss, buys, let it consolidate, buy. It's consolidating, then you buy again. Pound Oz we sold yesterday. I sold it. It came down, and the idea was it's going to break out. It didn't break out. It kind of do this. I was going to sleep. We were in the trading room. I told my traders, I'm going to go sleep. So when it come back to this level, because I was in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 8 hours, when it come back here, I'll close it, because one chance is they will probably do this. And my stop was here. And the second chance is they will break through, but they're not going to break through really fast. But if they'd broken through very fast, the best thing would have been to put an entry order here. Now, I didn't put the entry order there because I was going to sleep, and I can't manage trades in my sleep. And it's a short trade. It's not a long trade. They broke out and they come. So all you need now is a flag. If you get a flag here today, and you'll probably wait for this to make a flag, that would be a good sell setup. I think you know what flags look like. Here is a flag. Right? For the upside. This is a small flag for the upside. So you want a small flag here for the downside. Right now, it's just going down slowly. You don't want to sell in this. Is it a running flat? Let's see. No. I don't think it's a running flat. You can see this. And when you get this, you'll wait for it to go back up and then put an entry order here for the drop. If that happens. It's probably going to go back slowly. Can they go back up to the upside some more? Maybe. Not interested in that trade. It could probably go, but that's not a good trade right now, because the bigger picture is downside, right? See this bigger picture here? This, once it's consolidating there, it will have to come back at least to this level and then go back up. See, so the trade is the sell right now. and then you decide if you want to buy. So wait for a flag in the corner there, and then you'll get a trade that will come, I don't know how much pips. If you get a flag from there and then you put an end shorter, you could get about 100 plus pips before it goes back up, if it's going to go back up. Aussie Yen. Oh, why is my Pong Aus? Oh, because we were in the trade. Let me move that to where the Pong is. Sorry, I was in the trade. That's why I moved it up. Aussie Yen, you're getting a buy setup. It came down, make a flat, and now you're getting a buy setup. If it breaks out, look for a flag, trade it. The chances are they can come back down one more. Chances are this could come back down one more without breaking this top. Right? Without breaking that top, they could drop one more here and you'll get this bigger correction before it goes. The reason I think it could come one more is because this is going really slow. When they go slow like this, well, this one is understandable, 1, 2, 3, right? It could still make 4, 5, and then go, right? Wait for it to break out, wait for a flag, and then take the trade. Aussie, New Zealand, it's going to continue to go up. And again, if you're going to trade it, you have to have a lot of patience. Remember, I tell from here, if you bought it from here, let's just show you something. What if you bought this? So from this to there, that's how much pips. That's just about 23 pips. And you had to wait, I don't know, that's when, what, the 17th of February, that is the 20, today is the 18th or day. You have to wait a day plus just to move 23 pips. And you have to live through all the pullbacks, which means you have to watch it go, come back here. Watch it go, come back there. And still don't panic and close it, right? So if you want to trade it, you have to have that patience. It's going to go. It did that previously, and it's going to continue to go just like that. Europound, let's see if we get a turn today. It could be. We don't have, take this off. That was if this was going to break very fast. You could put an end shorter there, but you can wait for a flag now. It's good. You see this go up, no flag. See this go up, no flag. See this go up, no flag. Wait for this to make a flag. Because if it doesn't make a flag, it can drop like that and you'll be in a loss rather than a win. So wait for the flag because there is still a chance that this could come here, make a running flat, drop one more and then go. I'm not interested in the sell because this is the low of the correction. And then we are expecting them to make one more to the upside. So if you get a flag, it's a buy. If you don't have a flag, just let it do what it's doing. Euro Yen, we're getting some corrections here, and that is nice. Starting to make some kind of a corrections here. I don't think it's upside. I think we might get more corrections and then downside. So it's going to be a bigger correction. Even if it's going up, you don't have a buy setup as yet. Right? There is no setup to buy. All you have is a candle pulling back. It's like this one, right? You don't have a setup to sell this here. Because if you sell this here, look what happens to you. It goes back up. So we don't have a setup to buy it. It could be that they're starting an up move, but it will have to give you a setup before you can buy, confirming that it's going to go up more. Euro Swiss, you're getting a bigger correction. Probably stay the hell out of it because it's not going anywhere. It's still here. And this is likely going to come here, but forget about it. You're not going to get a good trade. It's very tough to trade. Euro Aus. Let's see what happens with this. Are we getting a change in direction? We have a lot of divergence, but no change in directions yet. So sell setup, still sell setups. This was the sell. There was another sell here. You have to wait for more correction here. Wait for this to make more correction, and then you can get another sell. Right? So this was a sell. This was a sell. You can wait for this to happen and get another sell setup. Right now, it's consolidating, so it'll take a while. Euro New Zealand. I think this will go back up. The way this pattern is looking is that this might just come here and go back up before they come down. We were expecting this to drop, right? You see the arrows telling us that that one should drop. And it's coming down, but it's not coming down the way we'd expect. It's not giving us the impulse. So if you're not getting the impulse, then what you're likely getting is an impulse in a smaller correction. That is something like this. I think we have a flat there. This is probably going to do one more here and then go back up like that before we get the downside. This is just going to be a big flat. And you probably get a small one here. So you probably get a small one in here, one more up and then down. Something like this before it comes down. So I don't think we're trading this today. EuroCAD. Same thing, up move, no correction, or it started to look like it's correcting, but then dropped, so no trade. I think we have a running flat here already with this one. There is a running flat there, so this could probably go a little more down. We don't want the sell. You're not selling this even if it breaks it. Remember, we were trying to sell this earlier. I think from somewhere here or from somewhere in here, we're trying to sell it to break the low. I think it was from here. We're trying to sell it to break the low. And it just wouldn't go, right? Well, it's probably going to break the low, and then you're going to look for the upside, because every time they break that low, you're going to go up. This is the pattern you're looking at. You're looking at this, see? So you can put it like that. You can put it like this. So there's a good chance you could come a little more here, break that low, but then you're looking for this straight up. So there might be a little sell there, just ignore it. Let it break the low now, and then we'll look for the buy. Take this out and take that out. Let it break the low, maybe go a little more lower, and then, I mean, if you want to take the sell, it's up to you. There might be a short trade there. Pound New Zealand, we're looking for the sell. No sell set up as yet. Let's see if we have one today. Yep, we could look for the sell here now. If this consolidation goes up, back, and drop, we'll sell, because this is the top. See, they made this yesterday. They made a top, they come down. If you get a flag here, we're selling. This is the top of a big correction. The correction is this one. So we're getting a sell set up now. See, this move will still come down. It will first either come to this level and go back up, or break through and go down. Because within this correction, they can still go up more. But there's a sell setup we're looking for. And you might be getting that sell setup right now. If it goes higher, I'll ignore it. Which means if this goes one more high like that, I'll ignore the buy. I'm not buying it at top. Right? It has to break out of the structure totally. What would change the structure for me? This has to break out totally out of here, out of that structure, consolidate here, and then I'll continue to buy. But when it's at the top of a structure like that, I'm not buying it. Give me the confirmation of outside, and then I will buy. Right now, it's telling us every time they go to the top, they can come back down. So this could come back down. Pangos, I told you about this already. So it's still a sell, at least to break these lows, and then we'll see what happens. Pangcad, Pang Swiss, sorry. Pang Swiss still going. So if you're buying, good, congratulations. It's starting to get very slow now. And that's not a good sign, especially if you're a buyer. Put it in the 1 hour. It's getting very slow. So this buy would have been going nowhere. This buy would probably, you're still in that buy, or you want to take your profit, because it might give you another buy. I can see the consolidation here might give you another buy again. If this goes fast, good for you. If it goes slow, well, put it to break even and see how far it goes. Follow the trade up, see how far it goes. As they go slower to this top, the higher the probability is they're going to fall very soon, right? We can still get all the way there. And the buys here is good, actually. The bigger the correction, the better the buy. You can keep it for a longer move. The smaller the correction, the more you have to be careful, right? And we're getting some divergence. That means momentum is dying out. So watch these trades here. You might get something like this. Pangcad. Okay. We didn't break the top as yet, so they might still go break it. I still think this is not coming down very aggressively. Let's see if we get one more, and then we'll look for the downside. There's a buy setup there if you want. It's going to break that top. I do think they'll break the top. We're just coming down more in something like this, like a channel. So if you're going to get a sell setup, this has to drop. For the sell, it will have to drop, make a flag. See this flag here? Make a flag, and then we'll look for the sell. Don't try to sell it where it is. New Zealand yen. It's coming down. So if you sold well, I think some of my traders sold. We're still in this, right? It's still in that. So that means it can still go up. Take out that sell, put it to break even. And that means this could still go up once more, right? We could still get another high here and then come. So we didn't get a breakout. Take that off. It's not breaking out. It's not going aggressive. It's pretty slow. But I can see there, they can still do this and then still come down. So if you're going to get a buy setup here, it will be a very short-term trade. If it's going to fall, you would want this to come back here, go back there, make a flat, and then we would look for that trade. If it breaks out from here, we're going to get a new top and then the downside. It's still coming down. It's just a matter of how it's going to go, because we're looking for this piece, right? We're looking for this one. right? So at some point, you know, it could do this and then do that. If not, you get one more high and then that comes. The one high is just breaking the top. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, you might be getting a good one here. You're getting a correction. Hopefully this goes like that, right? So let's see, do we have a sell setup at the top there? Not as yet. No sell setup at the top, but this is definitely telling you you're going to get one more down, right? You're already getting a correction in here, which is good enough to tell you downside. We don't have the sell setup there as yet, but we could get it in before it breaks out. If not, you have to take the breakout here. Wait for a flag and sell. New Zealand CAD. Also downside, but not very aggressive. You'll have to wait. This is just a sharp pullback. See if this comes here and go back there, and then you'll get a sell setup. Nothing to sell there as yet. CAD Swiss. Okay, it finally broke the top, right? Again. So this sell didn't happen. Take that out. That was a good sell. That's a good entry. It didn't go. Take it out. We got a new top. Look for the sell. Like I said, if you're looking for a sell here and it doesn't go, no problem. You're not in the trade. We're still looking for the sell. Why? Because this correction is going to go down. Right? See, this whole pattern starting from here is a corrective structure. Let me take this out and put this line here so you can see it. That is a corrective structure. Can it go a little more higher? Maybe. Take that out. We'll look for the sell. We broke the top already. This one was just showing when we'll break this top. We wanted it to break that top, and they broke it. And they broke it again. So they could go here, but then we're looking for the sell. We're looking for this trade down. See, we're not looking for this piece here at the top there. That piece is useless. Risk to reward is not there. Let's see if we get it turned today. And then we'll look for the sell. If this continues to go up, you don't have to worry about it. You know, you're not missing anything. You're just not in the trade. If it starts to fall and it falls that much and you don't get the trade, well, then you miss something because you're actually looking for the sell, right? You can only miss what you're looking for. You can't miss what you're not looking for, right? I think all of you know that. Swiss Yen. I told you about this. This is where I started. Let it correct some more. We'll look at this. I'll try to update this more often in YouTube. Buy. You got the buy? You should get the buy because you're looking for the buy. I said put an entry order for that buy. And I told you it could come all the way to this top. Right? Now, at this point, I think I need to let you know, right? It's not a crystal ball and I don't know the news. I don't watch the news. Now, that might have moved because something happened somewhere in the world or somebody said something or whatever. And you may say, well, it happens because this person said that or because this news came out or because that. Look, guys, don't waste your time on that stuff. Do what you know. You don't know who is going to say what, and you don't know what is going to happen in the world. But you can see this. Or I hope you can see it. That's my hope. And if you see that, put an entry order here because you're going to get this. It's that simple. If you see this, put an entry order here because the likelihood you're going to get that. It's simple. You don't have to worry with the world news. I don't know, some people really bothered. When you saw this, what I told you, we're going to go break this top, minimum from here. You're going to go break that top. Well, they did. And this big one is just trying to get, it's still a corrective structure, but it's going up to the level where we're going to turn, right? This entire piece looks like a big correction. So my thought process is this is a 1, a 2, and a 3. So at some point here, we will probably come back to this level and then maybe continue to go. Could this be the one that go? Well, if we have more information here, then I'll tell you that, but I don't think so. I think right now this will just come to the top there, come back down, and then go. So you have trades to the top. There's still a lot more trades to the upside. Every flag you get, you can buy. US oil. If you bought, take profit. That's the whole thing, right? If you bought this one, take profit. If you bought this one, take profit. They see they drop first before they go back up. That's your buy. Just like this. They drop first, then go. So your entry order should be right here. You just got in the trade, put a stop here and wait to see. If it doesn't go in a couple hours, get the hell out of the trade. If it goes like this, very nice, stay with it. Right? Can it come back down? At some point, yes, you have divergence. And on the bigger picture, there's a good chance that this could start to correct back downwards. You're way back at the top here. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you. Yep, like this. At some point, this would either go back and retest the low, or you're going to start to make a bigger correction here. This would confirm more upside. See? When you see this, you're confirming more downside. When you saw that, more downside. When you see this, definitely more downside. Is that hindsight? You can always say, oh, well, yes, it's easy for you to go hindsight and do that. Well, why don't you go and check the forecast I made on this thing when it was doing this up, that we're going to come, oh, sorry, when it was here, that this would drop beyond this low. That forecast exists. And I'm telling you now, this at some point, most likely would start to do this. I don't know what it's going to be like. Is it going to look like that, or is it going to look like this? But it will make a corrective structure, and then you're going to go up. Because this is just one sharp impulse, and that impulse is about to end. The daily, it's telling us it's about to end. And the 4 hour, it's telling us it's about to end. So you can take short trades up, but you have to get out of the trade, move your stop, because at some point, it's going to stop, go into the bigger correction, or totally drop again. I believe it's a bigger correction, probably a year, 2 years correction. It is just going to go downwards, but sideways. And then the next big impulse starts. How long is it going to go sideways? I don't know, a year, 2 years. Sometimes they take much longer. You can go back and check the previous ones and see how long they took. Might get an idea. UKL, same thing. You took the trade. By the way, the UKL we bought. We didn't buy this one because we didn't have the down move as yet. This one didn't have that small down move. Let's put it in the 1 hour. So yesterday, this move was not there. It was going up to the top, but you didn't have that move. So I told my traders, buy this one. See, we had this move here. If you bought that, it still come back, but then you get a better trade, right? It goes back up, give you the better trade. So this was the better one. It's coming down again. You have to take profit because then you might get either another correction and you buy again, or they start to drop. Which one we'll see. It could drop or it could make another correction. Natural gas. I don't think you want to get, let's see, we're now breaking out of the structure. We're kind of breaking out of this. Check this out. Let's see something. What's a bigger structure? Possible. It's not very clear what it's doing at that point, but it's possible. So what you can do is wait for 1 hour flags and take the trade. If you get 1 hour flags, take the trade and take profit. So this comes back here and go up. You can buy, but take profit. Don't keep it. Because as you come to the top of that previous big move, it's not, we're not confirming this as an impulse as yet. It doesn't just look impulsive. And that means if this is not impulsive, you can get something like this. And then you can end up going back up. So because of that, you want to be careful at the top here with the trades. Let me take this out. I want to be careful as you come to the stop. I'll just put a line to show you where the top is. I want to be careful with the buys. Okay, so the final buy is there, and now you're coming down. I think there was a sell setup yesterday. Some of my traders asked, and there was a small sell setup there in the 1 hour, which would have given you a trade. You take profit. I hope you did. It's probably making a bigger correction here now. That would be very good for if you want to trade this and it makes a correction here, kind of give you something like that. This would be a better sell setup and a bigger impulse to the downside. This one dropped also, but you probably wouldn't, you'd have to get out of that trade pretty fast because it went back. I think we looked at this yesterday and we assumed that you might get a new high because of this. So this could still probably go make a new high. There's a high probability of a running flat there. S&P 500, it came down. You can also look at this as a possible running flat. So two things, either you get a flag here and you buy, or they come deeper, consolidate here, and then we'll go with the sell. Right? We'll assume that this is a contracting flat, and we go with the sell. Which one is correct, the contracting flat or the running flat? Depends on what happens here. If it goes up now, it's a buy. If it comes deeper to this level and then go up, that's a sell. Next. Okay, take this off, put a bigger correction. Just put this here. And that's a buy setup. See? Take this, let it come some more here. And then you're looking for that trade up. See? So this didn't break out. We thought that was all the correction. Didn't break out. You make a bigger corrective structure, look for the buys. It's probably going to come a little more to this low, break the low, and then turn. And very likely they'll break that low before they go. So you might get one small more trade down and then the upside. This is going up, but why it's going up slow? You start a channel like this, you're in trouble, right? So there's a buy setup here. This would probably go, but again, you see you're some kind of a channel, they'll probably just do this. Take the trade, move your stops, take profit. Small trade, so you're not gonna keep it for a long time. Nifty. Okay, it's coming down. There was a sell setup here. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I have to get a sip of water there. Let's go. So it's coming down. If you take this sell, be very careful because the possibility for running flat exists. Just put it to break even. And let's see. What if it's dropping and this was a contracting flat? That possibility exists too. So take the trade, put it to break even, and let's see where it goes. Tesla. It's not going anywhere. It's still consolidating. It's coming down a little, it's going up, but this is just becoming a much bigger consolidation. If you get a flag buy, just buy within the range, right? If you get a flag there, because we broke this low, if you get a flag here now, it becomes a buy. I wouldn't sell it there, not as yet. It has to make a good correction here for a sell. Amazon, still correcting within this range. See, it's kind of like this. We're still in this piece. At some point, you'll come back here, you'll go up, and you'll go down. These arrows will at some point play out. Now, there's only one piece where we can say it's played out this part already, right? If you take this part to be this one, then we still have this piece to go. So let's see if we have a flag here, then we can trade this down. If this turns out to be a correction here, something like this, see? So, or something like this. If you get a correction here, this becomes a sell to this level. So we can look at it like that right now. SLR, more downside. This was a good sell here. This was a consolidation. You're making another consolidation, more downside. Okay, this one pulled back pretty deep, so you're going to get to running flat here and probably one more up. That's a very good running flat. Let's see if it turns. You wait for the turn, you take the trade. Well, we're back at the top here. So we have this. This is what we have right now. Take this off. And let me see, where is this? Take this off. We're within this range, right? Within a range here. The problem with it is we've broken the low and we've broken the tops. Right? Both tops and bottoms were broken in this one. That's the impulse up. So I think we broke the bottom. And we broke the bottom here and we broke the top here. Two things you can consider. Either this was the end of the structure and this one is trying to go back up. So this would be the flat 1, 2, 3. Or we're making a running flat in here. What does that mean? That means that this bigger one, 1, 2, 3, is an expanding flat. And this one is a 1, 2, 3 for a running flat. And we will come back here. Right? That is one possibility. So how do you know which one is going to do? Or how would you trade it? If you have two possibilities, one is that this is a contracting and a running flat and we're coming back here. And then we will go up. Or this one is a small flat here. And this is going to go up. Right? Traders who are, I would say, amateurs would say, oh, he just told you it can go up or it can go down. That's an amateurish thinking. I want you to be more complex in your thought process. I want you to think complex thoughts. So let's go complex thoughts, right? Like equations with X and Y's in them. If this breaks the top, makes a correction here, you go up. Clear? Good. For simplicity, if this doesn't do that, breaks the top, drops here, you want that drop, you want that first impulse, makes a correction like this, a smaller one, we sell. So if X, you sell. If Y, you buy. I hope everybody gets that clear now. It's not we're in the up trade, we're going to go up or we're going to go down. If your mind is that simple, stop trading. If all your thought process are that simple, he just said it's going to go up or it's going to go down, don't watch my videos and stop trading. You're not ready for this. This needs complex thinking. If you get a correction there, you're looking for an next impulse up. If it makes a sudden drop, makes a flag, you're selling. See? Simple, but complex. It is not complicated. It's just complex. The patterns are complex. They're not simple. Simple-minded people should stay away from trading. Trading is complex. The patterns are complex. It's not that simple. So I hope I haven't insulted anyone. Let's go. It's not meant as a personal attack. It's meant as a general concept of how you trade. Because when I do these things, people say you're attacking somebody. No, it's not any particular person. I'm not calling any names. I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm saying if you're one of those people who cannot think complex or hold complex thoughts in your head, trading might be difficult for you. So don't come under this video and make your simplistic comments or make derogative comments because it's a waste of your time. Just stay away from it. If you can understand the complexities in this as to why it could go up and what you need to see and why it could go down and what you need to see, then yes, you're welcome. I would even love to have you in my group because you will just make my group a much more better group than it is. It is already the best group in the world. You would just add to that. It is the best trading group in the world. Now, some people take I don't know, what would be the exact word? When I say that, they don't like it. They say, how can you say that? It's the best. Well, I can say it because it is. I know my traders and I know the people in the group. They're very smart people. All of them are smarter than me. So if you think what I am doing is good, you should go in the room and see how smart they are. Right? So it is the best group. So let's go. I think the trolls are going to get crazy in that one. I like to make them go a little crazy. So let's see. We let it come back here. We can't, because this one is so short. If it was here, we would say buy. But because they barely tipped the low, it could be the end of the pattern. But because there also exists a corrective structure whereby you can break the low and still be in the correction. And there are more than one structure. There's expanding flats, there are running flats, right? Because of those possibilities, you have to be careful that it could still come back here and then go. See, it is that. That's all it is. So let's see if we can get that going. Bitcoin. See the running flat? It's going up. This one didn't go lower. It's still going up. Let's see. So I was expecting this to probably come down a little more here. Where's the drawing tool? Lost it. Okay, the drawing tool is missing. Give me 1 second. That will take him control. Oh, really? Let's cancel it. Let me find it. Now I have to go find it. I lose it once in a while. One second, guys. I'll get it back. And that's it. I think we got it back now. Yep. So we were expecting this to probably come a little more lower than go for a flat here. Well, it just kept going. So we'll have to see if we missed a flat somewhere else, maybe a running flat somewhere. This possibility, maybe. No problem. You get a buy setup here now. You can see that that's a clear buy setup. Again, the question is, if you're buying at the top, who's selling to you? Be careful. If you bought, good. There's another buy. This is a perfect buy flag, actually. When you get it like this, if these break out, they go somewhat, some distance. I think we'll probably be looking at this as a running flat. Not the best one, but yes. So you can look at that. That's a trade. Buy, take profit. Don't hold it. If you're buying here, you better take profit. Don't keep it. And if you're buying there, you probably have a lot of extra money in your pocket. So make your choice. Let's go. XRP. We're still going sideways, and I think we're still going down, right? Is this going to break out, go up? Possible. If you have a flat here for a buy, so you can take this buy, but you have to be very careful. All they will probably do is come back to the top here, right? If this goes, right, it'll probably come back to the top here. The bigger structure is still downside. See this whole bigger structure here? Still looks downside. At least in relationship to that impulse, it's still downside. So there is a buy setup short term. I think if you're a short-term buyer and you think you can get this trade, you might want to take it. But then you'll have to move your stops and take profit because the bigger picture still looks downside. ETH, okay, you have a buy setup. I think yesterday I told you this could be a buy setup here. Short-term, if you get another flag, buy again. Short-term upside, very short-term because we've broken the top of the daily structure already quite a while back. And that means this could either start stretching very far or it could drop. How do we know if this will start stretch like Bitcoin? I don't know, but you can buy every time. Every flag you get, you can buy. This was a buy one. You can buy this and hold it, move your stops, break even. Move your stop here, let it go up, move your stop, see where at some point they might take you out. If you're buying and holding, that's a whole different story. LTC, let's see if this is going this side. This could come back. I'd be careful with this buy. Right, because this sharp move means this could come back here before they go. That would be a running flat. So if this drops here, this would be a good buy because it's going to be a running flat pattern. And that means you're going to get one more high. We still don't have a sharp one here, so maybe sometime in the future we'll get one. Not this one. This one will probably come here, go back there, and then you might get a sharp drop like that. You could get it like there, and we'll get this and then continue to go. So somewhere in the future, you always get those sharp drops that will match the previous sharp drop, right? Let me see if I can find some here, show you. Here's a good example. Okay. So you have a sharp upside here. See that sharp move up? And then they drop, they make a flag, they drop, they make another one, they make another one, they drop, they made another one, they drop. But look what happened here. So it took all this time before you get that sharp move up and then you come down. See? So if I was telling you about this one, I would say be careful when this drop because it can go back up. Then I'd say be careful when this drop because it can go back up. Right? You can take the trade, but you have to be careful because it can go right back up. We're here and we're doing exactly the same thing. We have that sharp move and we have nothing to match it. That means in the future, that sharp drop, this sharp drop, nothing to match it, right? So when we were here, I said this would probably come here and come back down and then go. But once you break the top, well, be careful. This is not enough. I think that one is too small. And that one is actually having its own one. That one belongs to this piece. So you're going to get a drop here and you're going to have a smaller version of that same thing and then go back up. But then you're going to get a big one. And you will probably continue to go up. See? It always comes somewhere in the future. So trade, you can still buy. Wait for this to come down and then buy again. But every time you buy, you have to follow the trade up and move your stop or take profit because it's going to fall. I think today's video was long. It's about an hour. LTC, what else? Oh, that's about it. This is the last one. So with that, I'll end it. You still have a whole week or two more of free videos until the end of this month. It's all going to be free videos. Please help share them. Make sure someone else see it. If you like it, you watch it to the end, then share it, let someone else see it. And for those short videos, if you like them, please leave a comment. So let's see 1,000 views, 1,000 comments, so I can decide if we'll do them next week. Just tell me you would like to see it. And if you think it's going to be of help to you, then that would be good. Thank you, guys, and have a great day. Trade with care. I will see all my traders in the trading room right now.